We've had a lot of time on our hands in anticipation of game week 27. A lot of decisions to make because there's going to be a blank. That means that Manchester City, Everton, Chelsea, and Brighton would not be playing this weekend. But of course, if you're on the show, you shouldn't have a problem because I would be joined by HeungMin as we try and give you some advice on how you can survive this blank game week. We are back after this. Welcome back. You're still here on the Joy Fantasy Football Show. My name is Owuraku Ampofo, as you probably know by now, and I'm in the company of HeungMin. How you doing, HeungMin?
Hey, I'm good. Yourself?
I'm good too. It's been a long wait.
Yes.
When you usually get a lot of time, it makes making those FPL decisions very, very tough.
Yeah, very tough indeed. Because there's too much time on your hands, and then before you know, it's a game week deadline creeps up on you, and then you haven't made up your changes. So
for me personally, I think I have about 4 players who would not be playing this weekend, and guess what? I do have Holobas too. That makes it 5 players who would be absent this weekend. So I've been scratching my head for the past 2 weeks. I don't know whether to use my wild card, my free hit, or probably just take a few minus, 4s, probably end up at minus 8 or 16. But I'm sure people at home maybe have to make more difficult decisions or easier decisions. But let's start from you from a personal point of view. Where do you stand in this game week?
So unfortunately, just like you, I have 5 players, well actually 4 players who aren't playing. And then today I found out, unfortunately, Wan-Bissaka is also out with a hamstring injury. So that makes 5 players. Essentially, almost half my team not playing. So I'm in quite a fix. Unfortunately, also, I've used my free hit chip. So it means I'm down to my wild card. And then I can take the option of taking a hit, which looks most likely, given that game week 31 and the other game week, possible blank game week, are coming up on the horizon.
Yeah, so let me just give a little bit of a context right now. After this game week, there would be a bigger blank game week in game week 31. And with that one, it's going to be extremely big, more or less like a hurricane, because we're only going to see Chelsea and Liverpool play in that game week. That means 10 matches will be played then instead of the usual 5 matches. That's 10 teams instead of the usual 20 teams. And some teams that would be absent would be Tottenham Hotspur, Manchester United, and also Manchester City. So you do want to be patient and take your time because 2 more blank game weeks are coming up. And let's go straight into this. What do you think is the best approach for those of us who have already used their wild card and still have to make that decision? Would it be wise to keep your free hit now and use it later when a lot more teams will not be playing, or you would still advise on using your free hit now and you still have 4 more game weeks till game week 31? You could probably plan your transfers up until then and shape your team to survive that one. Or what exactly do you do? There are a lot of options to take.
Yes, indeed. There are a lot of options to go through. But the thing is, it depends. You have to have a personal approach to this. I personally have used my free hit chip already. So I'm most likely going to take a hit this game week in anticipation of game week 31, when I'm most likely going to use my wild card as well. At least by then I'll have a fair idea of the players that are going to play, the people who are going to stay longer throughout the rest of the game week and stuff like that. So it's a personal thing. If you've already used your free hit, you can look at your wild card, but with caution, especially because game week 31 is coming up. But personally, I advise you can take a hit this game week because most other people are also going to go through the same thing. People wouldn't want to use their free hit chip now. People who have their wild card would also want to use that now and things like that. So you are better off taking a hit. But even when you're taking a hit, you shouldn't take too much. Like maybe a minus 4.
What do you think is the limit?
Personally, a minus 8.
A minus 8. So that would be 1 transfer plus 2 more. So 3 transfers. So someone at home who has, let's say, 5 players not playing and he cannot trust his bench players. What do you think the person should do?
So that's actually my situation because 2 of my bench players are also not playing, including 5 in my starting lineup. So I'm definitely, but thankfully I have 2 free transfers because I was anticipating this. So it's going to be much easier for me. I am definitely going to take a minus 8 hit this game week, but it depends on the number of players you have who aren't playing and stuff like that. It's a very personal approach, but the key thing is to not panic this game week in anticipation of game week 31.
As you did hear it there from Enam, the key thing here is not to panic because it's just 4 teams not playing. And yeah, I do have, as I said earlier, 4 players who will not be playing, and +1, that's Oliver. So that makes it 5. And you do not want to see my bench. I'm that sort of FPL player who focuses a lot on his starting 11. But yeah, that's some good takes there. At the end of the day, it's still a personal choice for you. And it's a good time to go into our captain picks for game week 27. And you've picked 2 players. That's Son and Rondon. You want to take us through your decision over this?
Yeah. So basically, there's one differential captain and then there's one premium captain. So I'll start with Rondon. Rondon, as we already know, has scored 6 goals this season. He has 3 assists. He actually costs just 5.8 million. He's owned by 5% of FPL managers and he has 80 points, which is actually the highest for an outfield player in Newcastle, which means he's your target man. Yeah. He's the one who's going to get you the goals when push comes to shove. They face a Huddersfield side who are sitting rock bottom of the Premier League table.
They've conceded a lot of goals.
Yes, 47 goals actually.
Oh, that's
yes,
big, that's big.
And they only have 11 points, which means they are most likely going to go to relegation. Yes, yeah. I'm sure. So I don't see any fight in them as well. So I think this game will actually be easy pickings for Newcastle, and Rondon is going to come away with a goal or 2.
And you did mention Newcastle and Rondon, and it could be a good long-term plan because guess what? In game week 31, when a lot of the big teams are not playing, Newcastle would be playing. So he's definitely one of those players that you can get in your team, not just for game week 27, but also for future purposes.
And actually, for the next 4 game weeks after game week 27, they meet only one team who has 3 in terms of the fixture difficulty rankings. Everyone else has 2. So
very winnable fixtures, and you expect Benitez to keep this Newcastle side up. So if there are going to be any goals, it's definitely going to be Solomon Rondon. And you went for Son as your second option for a captain pick.
Exactly. I mean, it's arguable, but Son is, in my opinion, the most informed player in the league at the moment. He has 11 goals, 7 assists this season alone. He costs 9 million, which is okay for a midfielder of his caliber. He has 27% FPL ownership. So, which means if he scores big and you don't have him, you are definitely going to miss out. And other people are going to climb up their rankings. He has 132 points, FPL points, which is very high. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about being in the same league with the likes of Salah and Co, who are also high-scoring midfielders. And I honestly think he's going to score more than a goal this weekend.
But, of course, that may be put in danger because of what we've been hearing the birds whisper in the sky. And the news is that Harry Kane may return this weekend. Surprising news for Fantasy Premier League managers. Of course, I do not advise you to go for him, but it's a possibility. And if Harry Kane does come to Tottenham Hotspur, we do know the effect of that. He does carry that goal threat, and all of a sudden, Son doesn't get more than a goal in a game. So,
well, you never know.
Yeah, it's a bit debatable.
You never know, but he has the assist to help with as well. So
yeah, I think they played quite well before he went out to the Asian Games. And, Harry Kane did get injured over there. So, out of these 2, who would be, carrying that band for you this weekend?
Honestly, it's a bit of a tricky one, but I think my gut is going to go with Son.
My gut is going to go with Son. There could be last-minute changes, always. Always. And it's Fantasy Premier League, so I'm expect the unexpected. Thank you very much, Adam, for joining me. And of course, he provided some perspective on how to approach this blank game week 27. Of course, you do not have to panic, and your limit is a -8, and if you're going above that, you can think of other ways. If you've not used your free hit or wildcard, but remember, in game week 31 and 33, we're gonna have bigger blank game weeks, so be planning towards that. And in subsequent episodes, we would be providing you with just how to survive those 2 game weeks. My name is Owuraku Ampofo, and I was joined by Enam as we discussed this blind game week. Hopefully you do have a good week in FPL, and we do see you same time again next week. But up until then, always remember Fike Lindo, which basically means stay beautiful.